county a little bit short and think, oh, they're just anti-tax. No, they're anti-money being wasted. They want to know that money's being spent wisely, and that's being spent efficiently and effectively, and it's going to benefit our community. The sales tax is the best way to do that. It can only be spent on these certain items. There are a number of tools and accountability in place to make sure that happens. And really, it helps to ensure a broad base of people are paying for services that we all use and depend upon.
And by the way, it goes away in 4 years. Ad valorem tax, once it goes up, you're paying that property tax.
They're hard to go down. And that's, by law, this isn't, the county commission's decision. It's the voters' decision. And by law, it's only on for 4 years. And if it wants it, they say, well, what if the county commission, they have to put it up for a vote after 4 years to have it all done again if they want to. And you have a right to say yes or no then. Exactly. They can't extend it just because they want to. It has to be voted on. Kevin, we're up against it. Thanks so much on such short notice for coming in. I think this is something we had to get out to our listeners, that you have to understand this is not a tax just to be taxing, just to say, give us more money. This is to pay bills that have become long overdue. It's an investment in our own future. It's an investment in our community, just like businesses are asked to make on a daily basis by you and your staff at the CEP. Absolutely. Kevin Sheely of the CEP. Coming up next, Buddy Martin joins us for Buddy's Sports Page, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Michelob Ultra is more than a superior light beer. It's taking in all life has to offer, like catching a wave or biking a long trail. And when you're done, you reach for a cold Michelob Ultra. Fewer carbs, fewer calories, more to look forward to. Michelob Ultra. Long live the ultra life. Enjoy responsibly. Michelob Ultra Light Beer, 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, 0.6 grams protein, and 0 grams fat per 12-ounce serving. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
From beautiful townhomes to equestrian estates, Golden Ocala Golf and Equestrian Club provides the perfect haven of elegance for any homeowner. Not to mention our championship golf course, award-winning tennis program, state-of-the-art spa, and new luxury equestrian suite. We offer an array of membership options to suit a variety of lifestyles. Call 352-369-6969 today for more information about our latest real estate offerings.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent. Angie wants to help you as you adjust your insurance needs to your life. From everything to helping educate your teen driver to protecting your family against everyday risk. She wants to change the way you perceive insurance by developing relationships with her clients, which is why Angie and her staff are proud to be a part of so many good causes in Ocala. In turn, she has chosen to single out those who step up as leaders. Each month on the Voice of Ocala, Angie spotlights a good neighbor, saluting those who give exceptional service or do random acts of kindness to others. For this, Angie was written up in State Farm's national magazine. Angie also supports local businesses with a regular Biz Buzz.
Hi, I'm State Farm agent Angie Lewis. Come see me and my team for all your insurance and financial needs in the beautiful downtown historic district, 416 East Fort King Street, or call 291-2444.
Hello, everybody. This is Terry Bradshaw of Fox NFL Sunday. Whenever I'm in Ocala, if I'm not picking and singing with my buddy Mel Tillis, then I'm listening to my longtime friend Buddy Martin on WOCA. Of course, I rarely get to Ocala, so if you believe that, I've got some horses I'd like to sell you. Some of them even have 4 legs. Regardless, I highly recommend you listen to Buddy Martin's Sports Page weekdays at 5 p.m. right here on The Source.
Tick-tock, the days fly by, and we find tax season is upon us once again. Not to worry, though, with a reputable CPA firm on your side, you can rest assured that all of your needs will be handled in a professional and thorough manner. Robson, Scribner & Stewart is just that firm. They're there for their clients year-round, not just during tax season, to handle your needs and answer any questions you may encounter. At Robson, Scribner & Stewart, there is no client too small or too large. Their expertise ranges from the single individual to the largest of corporations. Get your return prepared by a professional who will use their years of experience to ensure that your tax return's outcome will leave you in the best possible position. Call them today at 694-4184. Robson, Scribner, and Stewart. They're there for you today. Again, that number is 694-4184. Time is of the essence, so don't delay. 694-4184.
Stay informed on everything going on in the Villages with the Village Spectator newspaper. The Village Spectator is exclusively devoted to the Villages with news, commentary, and more. And yes, they have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 804-1223 and pick up your copy of the Village Spectator today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
Hi, I'm Leah Caruso with Strive Rehabilitation, inviting you to join me Thursday at 11 a.m. for Health Matters. Ocala Health and Strive have teamed up to bring you the latest information on good health services available to you right here at home. This vital information will help you make informed decisions about your health. So don't forget to join me here at 11 a.m. Thursday. It's news you can use from Ocala Health, Strive, and your friends here at WOCA.
WOCA, This is James Snyder, inviting you to join me each Sunday morning at 9:30 for Sunday Joy on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM.
Hi, I'm Fran Darkington. When I need news, I pass the rest and tune to the source, WOCA.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Oh, I'm Karen McHugh. A funeral's been scheduled for Friday for former First Lady Nancy Reagan. It'll take place at her late husband's presidential library. Despite it being a private service, a large crowd is anticipated.
We're really prepared for that. We've held presidential debates. We held President Reagan's funeral, a lot of high-level security situations. We're working through all the details, and we will be able to accommodate as many VIPs as can attend.
Reagan Library spokesperson Melissa Giller. Nancy Reagan died at her California home Sunday. She was 94. Democratic presidential contenders Hillary Clinton and Senator Bernie Sanders face off in a town hall-style debate this evening on the Fox News channel. Brett Baer will moderate starting at 6 Eastern. The NFL's Peyton Manning calls it a career.
The end of my football career is just the beginning of something I haven't even discovered yet. Life is not shrinking for me.
He finishes with 2 Super Bowl titles and a record 5 league MVPs.
Fox's Gernal Scott. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Hey, it's Flo, and this is my impression of a home inspector who needs friends.
Yeah, so these studs need to be 1/4 inch further apart, give or take 1/2 inch. It's gotta be just right, you know, like the coverage Progressive provides for your construction business. Otherwise, I'll have to shut you guys down. But if I do, maybe you could come out for Tuesday trivia. Fair warning, I'm kind of a know-it-all. You'll see what I mean at board game night. Hey, what's your number?
Commercial insurance that's perfect for your small business. Visit ProgressiveCommercial.com to learn more. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Remember when a small business needed a landline? Today, landlines are a thing of the past with Grasshopper, the entrepreneur's phone system. On the road, at the beach, or at home, Grasshopper helps you grow your business. Get all the features of a business phone system and the freedom of a cell phone with our iPhone and Android apps. Features include multiple extensions for your team, calls forwarded to your mobile phones, voicemails transcribed and emailed, and so much more. See how it works at grasshopper.com, the entrepreneur's phone system.
So
like a good neighbor, State Farm.
Well, it's a little different kind of opening, but this is okay. It's a little different kind of Friday. Buddy Martin joining you on the program call. I'll do it now. Now it's time for Buddy Martin's Sports Page. Here's a couple of fellows who don't gamble. Tom and Buddy. Well, at least one. I'm Buddy Martin. Glad to be with you today. Beautiful day outside today in beautiful Ocala. I mean, how much better could it get than this? spectacular, cool nights, bright sunshine. It's just a wonderful, wonderful place to be. Thanks to Kevin Shealy and John McLeod for joining Tom. Good job, Tom. First couple of hours of the program. We have gremlins today, apparently. And if we're not sure what will happen, but we'll just turn the mics on and we'll start talking. I'm going to give a shout out to Tony Barnhart, Mr. College Football, and find out what's going on with him. He's making a little tour around the SEC. So as soon as Tom can reach him by phone, we'll talk to Tony. Don't know if you're a Peyton Manning fan or not. He's been through a bit up and down the scale, shall we say, the emotional ladder over the last 4 or 5 weeks. You read the stuff about him being charged by a person up in Tennessee that surfaced again. Old charges been resolved, but apparently they reared their ugly head again in a lawsuit, which has now apparently been dismissed. But Peyton Manning, of course, walking off into the sunset. What a wonderful story that is. And today he had his press conference, and I watched it. I'll tell you about that. But right now it's time to talk a little college football. Who better to talk college football with than Mr. College Football himself, who, by the way, I know he's sitting around eating bonbons, drinking Diet Cokes around the pool because he hasn't got anything to do. Season is over. Every now and then he hosts Paul Feinbaum's show, and I'll probably catch him in the middle of a bonbon. Let's go out now so we can find Mr. College Football, Tony Barnhart. He's probably got his feet kicked up. How's it going in Leisureland out there, Tony?
Well, buddy, I'm just headed back to Atlanta from Auburn. I spent all day today at Auburn's Pro Day looking at 14 Auburn players and about 55 NFL scouts and head coach Bill Belichick from New England, and talked to a lot of people and headed back home. It's when the calendar ticks to March, buddy, we're back full speed again and doing stuff for my friends at Gridiron Now and SEC, and you mentioned Feinbaum, so it's busy once March cranks up.
Of course I knew that, Tony. I'm pulling your leg. I know your schedule as good as you know it by now after all these years, and I know you're in your car, and I just told Tom Schmitz, I said he'll be driving, I don't know if you're driving to College Station or flying there. It's time for the Tony Barnhart Spring Tour, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've been to several stops. I was in Tennessee last week, spent an hour with Coach Butch Jones. A lot going on there, obviously. Been to see Kirby Smart, and I was in Kentucky last Friday, sitting down with Mark Stoops and watching their pro day. So it's fun. I mean, getting out in the spring and talking to coaches, and there's no pressure of the games coming up. Recruiting's over, and it's most of the time it's a pretty relaxed time to sit, and you learn a lot if you just listen to coaches and other people. You'll learn a lot.
Boy, you said something there that is so true, and that's called listening. Something not many of us can do well anymore, but I know you're a good listener. I read your piece on Butch Jones, and I think your comment was you sat down with him and, asked him how things were going, and he basically, while focusing on football, he knows that he's been through some tough times, and he thinks he's pretty confident it's going to be cleared up, apparently, from reading your piece. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, they feel that way, but I don't want to understate the seriousness of this Title IX lawsuit, buddy, because anytime you're in a civil lawsuit like this, there's some criminal charges that are pending against two other players. They're going to go on trial, and they're either going to be found guilty or not guilty. The civil case is much more complicated. There's so many more layers to it because now you're talking about 8 plaintiffs who talk about the culture at Tennessee and was it a hostile culture and things of that nature. So what I reported last week and what I wanted to emphasize, buddy, is that Tennessee is probably going to reach a point in time where they've got to decide whether or not to settle rather than to fight. And that's always a tough decision because you feel like settling admits guilt. And most of these lawsuits, if you go back and check it out, most of these civil lawsuits never make it to a court of law.
Well, I think the big thing with Butch Jones was the charge that he had basically said to a player who came to the defense of a woman who had been physically sexually assaulted, and the player reportedly said in a statement, affidavit or whatever, that he had been accused of
betraying the team by helping the woman. If that's true, that is damaging, and I don't know what will happen from it, but yeah, that's tough. That's a bad one.
Well, I sat down with Paul last week, buddy, before I did his show. The day before, I sat in as a guest in the studio in Charlotte, and I just told Paul, I said, look, I don't know how you prove that if it's not written down anywhere, because it's two competing points of view. But if they ever proved that was true, and that Butch Jones took that approach to a player, basically he is making he makes the case for the people who are suing Tennessee. And frankly, I don't know how he would survive that. But as you imagine, in my conversation with him, I asked him, he denied it a week ago. I asked him if he stood by that statement. He said he absolutely did. And so he contends that he did not do it. And that's what's going to be interesting about the court case, is because the young man in question is going to end up being a witness in the criminal trial involving A.J. Johnson, and he will be asked under oath about that incident.
Yeah, and that's really going to be interesting. Now, let me just say this. You've been around lots and lots of football programs, as have I. Forget for a second about the seriousness case. We both agree this is something that's going to be damaging in many ways, and not just and not legally, but also damaging morally in a way if it was true.
Of course.
But the fact remains that coaches who really are intense, and Butch Jones is one of those most intense, is they consider anything that you do to hurt another teammate in any way whatsoever is betrayal. That's how they teach, and you know that. Now, if I'm a lawyer for Butch Jones, I would say that's the culture of all teams. We're one body. We defend each other. We look out for each other, and we never ever betray a teammate by telling something that we shouldn't tell. Now, that would be a position of the lawyer. Whether it would hold up in court, I don't know. But that's kind of how it is in college football.
Well, and in this particular case, buddy, the reason that you can make that argument, but the reason it would not hold up in court is because while the mentality in the locker room is you don't betray a teammate, if what you're doing is covering up a crime involved, that's where you have to draw the line as a teammate.
As we know all too well.
You cannot be a part of a cover-up to a crime. That's where the line has to be drawn.
Just look at Penn State, and look what happened to what everybody considered to be an honorable man. Now they're talking about putting the statue back up of Joe Paterno, and how much did he know and whether he knew what was going on there, which is a horrible thing that happened. But if you even attempt to cover up anything, as you said, Tony, look out. It will come tumbling down on top of you.
Exactly.
All right, so now what do you expect to find out on your tour? Boy, it sure seems like it's close to a dumpster fire at Texas A&M. They obviously had a very poor season. Obviously, the coaching change at LSU, didn't take place. Les Miles now, protected ironically by the fact that his buyout would have been $14 million, and the school can get that kind of money. The stories go on and on and on, but none bigger than better than the one in Tuscaloosa, where Nick Saban now has just recently made an interesting hire. Let's talk about the situation at Texas A&M.
Well, first of all, consider the concept right now that Texas A&M has just put in the last year. They put $450 million into a massive renovation of Kyle Field. I am looking forward to going through that because I hear it's just a palatial sort of situation. Since Johnny Manziel was there, 3 years ago now, they've had 2 subpar seasons, around 8 wins, and now all of a sudden thrown into that pressure is the fact that 2 5-star quarterbacks, or 2 very highly rated quarterbacks, left Texas A&M in the span of just a few days. He fired his offensive coordinator, brought in Noel Mazzoni, who's coached in the SEC at Auburn and Ole Miss. There's just a lot going on, and Texas A&M, with the money they have, and they're paying Kevin Sumlin $5 million a year, buddy. And so there is a certain amount of pressure for Sumlin to get this thing turned around.
All right, on to Tuscaloosa. It looks like that Nick Saban's making some tinkering with the staff up there, and there's some rumor reports about a new hire. Have you heard about that?
Well, one of the things he's done recently, he's hired Mike Loxley, who was the offensive coordinator at Maryland.
Correct. Yeah.
Was going to stay on when DJ Durkin became the head coach. He hired another offensive coordinator, but wanted to keep Loxley on the staff because he's a good coach and a very good offensive coordinator and great recruiter. But he decided not to do that because Nick Saban basically gave him an administrative position. Now, what Saban likes to do is because now there's no limit to these administrative positions you can have. He brings in proven coaches, puts them on his administrative staff, and then when he has an opening, he slides that guy right in. And that's one of the things he's done with Mike Loxley. He's brought in a kid, Brent Key, who was the coach in waiting for George O'Leary at UCF. Now, when George O'Leary was eased out the door, they didn't give Brent Key the job, and so Brent Key now joins the staff as offensive line coach. So he's got that, and he's got two other former head coaches on the staff, and Lane Kiffin and Mario Cristobal. And that's one reason, buddy, that Nick Saban seems to stay about a step and a half ahead of everybody else because he thinks of stuff like this.
He does, and now all of a sudden Bobby Stoops has hired another administrative guy, Steve Spurrier Jr. You know what's going to happen there.
Yeah, well, second tour of duty with Coach Stoops is junior, and he was there when they won their national championship in 1999. Was with them, then came to coach for Coach Spurrier at South Carolina, and so that's a good. I heard Coach Spurrier, Steve Spurrier Sr. on Paul Feinbaum earlier in the day, so that's a good place for Bubba.
Yeah. All right, Tony Barnhart, Mr. College Football. And we're getting ready to hear this week about the situation at Florida. There's going to be a change at quarterback. We don't know the details of what's going to happen, especially whether Treon Harris will be at wide receiver. But from your perspective, and you stay in touch with a lot of coaches, what are you hearing about up in Gainesville, what's going on there, and what would be your projection about what quarterback may emerge?
Well, what's interesting about that, just talking to people, this time a year ago when Luke Del Rio was sitting out after transferring from Oregon State, people were raving about it. But now that Austin Appleby has come in from Purdue, I hear a lot of good things about him. You got the freshman Felipe Franks, and I think somewhere is going to be your quarterback. But I'm anxious I want to get down to Florida and see these young guys because I know Coach Mack is looking forward to working with them. For sure.
All right, Tony, and is there going to be any kind of seismic shift? This is my last shot with you here to look at 2016. A seismic shift in the powerhouses or the top power conferences in terms of champions. Will there be a day when, say, the Pac-10 finally shows up in the Final Four? Will having a championship game eventually help the Big 12? And can the SEC continue, which it now picked up again? Well, that 7 out of 8 last year's they've had a national champion there. So give me your overall overview of the Power Five and how you see things shaking down for the bigger, better teams in 2016.
Well, I still think the SEC is going to be the best conference in the country. We've certainly got questions about Alabama, but overall, I think I see them still being in pretty good shape. I'm a little bit fascinated by what the Big 12 is going to do because they're torn right now. Half the league wants to add 2 teams and go to a conference championship game. The other half is hoping for NCAA legislation that would allow them to have a conference championship game without going to 12 teams, and that is something that's on the board right now. I still believe the Big 12 champion most of the time is going to have to go undefeated. Now, Oklahoma did it this year and got into the playoffs, but most of the time they're going to have to go 12-0. I think the Pac-12 is coming back. I think they are, they were right there last year, and I think the ACC, with Clemson being where they are, Clemson's going to be your one, and I'll be surprised if Clemson's not in the playoffs. So overall, the Big Ten, I still think it's Ohio State. I still think they got more players than anybody else. But as we both know, Jim Harbaugh is very, shall we say, creative. And Michigan is going to get there sooner rather than later.
I agree. And by the way, we lost a colleague this past week, and you've been around long enough to know what Hubert Mizell was to a press box, and I've struggled to be able to tell the young people about the culture of the press box as it once was. Tony, you've been around, you know what it was like. Two things. A, I know you know Hubert, friends of Hubert. We all send condolences to Marcy and Kevin and family. His services will be Saturday. And then secondly, he was part of that culture, that press box, when on given Saturdays, there was no place like it back in the day, Tony.
Well, it was a different time, and people like Hubert Mizell and my mentor, Foreman Bisher, and other people like that. It was a fun place to be, and nobody took it too seriously. We all had a job. We took our job seriously. We didn't take ourselves seriously. And Hubert was a giant of a man and a giant of a person, a giant of a reporter and columnist. He was that part of the state. He was the state of Florida, and he was always so good to me as a young reporter coming up. Always had words of encouragement. He says, "Hey, I like what you're doing," and so I'll miss him greatly. I knew he had not been doing well, and I wasn't surprised to hear the news, but I certainly was sad to hear the news.
Yeah, R.I.P. to our buddy Hubert Mizell. Tony, it's always a pleasure to speak with you. Travel safely out on the highway, and enjoyed reading your columns on gridironnow.com, so we'll talk to you soon.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
All right, Tony Barnhart, Mr. College Football. Take a break and return after this timeout on Buddy's Sports Page.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent. Angie wants to help you as you adjust your insurance needs to your life. From everything to helping educate your teen driver to protecting your family against everyday risk. She wants to change the way you perceive insurance by developing relationships with her clients, which is why Angie and her staff are proud to be a part of so many good causes in Ocala. In turn, she has chosen to single out those who step up as leaders. Each month on the Voice of Ocala, Angie spotlights a good neighbor, saluting those who give exceptional service or do random acts of kindness to others. For this, Angie was written up in State Farm's National Magazine. Angie also supports local businesses with a regular Biz Buzz.
Hi, I'm State Farm agent Angie Lewis. Come see me and my team for all your insurance and financial needs in the beautiful downtown historic district, 416 East Fort King Street, or call 291-2444.
Need a car? Need financing? Need somebody to cut through the red tape and send you rolling down the highway? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Got great credit and just prefer a quality pre-owned car at a fair price from somebody you can trust? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Want to avoid high pressure to feel appreciated and be able to choose from a wide selection of AutoCheck and Carfax certified vehicles? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Prestige Auto Sales in Ocala. Prestige. It's all there in our name. Hi, this is Buddy Martin. If you have an award or a trophy in your house, there's more than a good chance it came from BJ Trophies Gifts and Awards. At BJ Trophies, Floyd Hirschberger and his staff have a lot more than just trophies. Among the items they specialize in are donor recognition walls and trees, personalized or engraved gifts, cast bronze dedication plaques, wide format digital printing with posters, banners, and signs, and promotional products. Floyd is the official trophy and awards maker for the Voice of Ocala radio show and is North Central Florida's leader in custom recognition programs, corporate awards, industrial engraving, unique gifts, and advertising specialties. When Angie Lewis went shopping for something to award to the winners of her State Farm Good Neighbor Award, she shopped first at BJ Trophies Awards and Gifts. Check them out at 1735 Northeast Jacksonville Road on North Magnolia's Miracle Mile, or call them today at 352-732-2249. BJ Trophies Awards and Gifts. Trophies is just our middle name.
It's the end of the fiscal year, and that means budget cuts and number crunching. Now's the time of the year you're evaluating your expenses, planning your budget, and finding ways to save money and increase efficiency to maximize profits. Dex Imaging understands and delivers. Call Dex Imaging today for a free document management evaluation. Cutting your office expenses is as easy as calling Dex Imaging. 352-266-0333. Start saving money today and increase your bottom line with Dex Imaging. Imaging. Printers, copiers, and fax machines that increase office productivity and save you money. No one understands your bottom line better. Call Dex Imaging today, 352-266-0333, or check them out on the web at deximaging.com. That's DEXimaging.com. Or call 352-266-0333 for your free document management evaluation today.
On the next AM Ocala Live, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin will be on the air answering your questions about your lawns and your gardens as we enter springtime.
News Bites, the hottest news and current events served bite-sized.
And then auto repair with personal care with your host, Matt Gibbs. Matt is the owner of Sunrise Automotive and Crossroad Auto Sales.
Have all of your disaster restoration questions answered by Joe Reichel on damage control.
And then Killian McKeon is coming on. He's an award-winning illustrator, a press photographer who has photographed events such as the Phoenix Fashion Week, Comic-Con International, the Harlem Globetrotters, and the Laughlin International Film Festival. He's a graphic designer and one of the illustrators of the future, quarterly award winners for Volume 32 of the Writers and Illustrators of the Future, being released in May. All of that plus Fun with Joe on the next AM Ocala Live right here on the Source WOCA 96.3 FM.
1370 AM.
Welcome back to the Sports Page. It's a little bit of a short window for our buddy Franz Beard. We always enjoy having. We had a longer session than we thought with Mr. College Football, Franz Beard.
You mean Tony Barnhart, Mr. College Football. Tony Barnhart.
He's Mr. College Basketball.
He's Mr. College Basketball, Franz Beard.
Yeah, Tony Barnhart, yeah. And by the way, if those people, we apologize to folks who weren't able to get that on FM if that was the case. We'll work on it. We'll get you.
We're trying to get more power on the FM.
Ooh, that's a good thing.
Yeah, right.
We'd like more power. Speaking of power, let's go up and talk to Mr. College Basketball. That's a pretty good name for you, Franz Beard.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I wish I knew as much as I'd like to know.
Franz, of course, writes for FightingGators.com. He's in the midst of, I'm sure, as all we are, sorting out who will be the Florida quarterback this year. We're all waiting with bated breath on that. So I'm going to turn it over to you and let you give me two things in a short period of time. A, spring practice opens on Wednesday. Who will the quarterback be? And B, Florida's first round in the SEC tournament.
Well, I'll start with the football. A, I think the quarterback, the number one guy going out there is going to be Luke Del Rio. I think the number two guy is going to be Austin Appleby. I think Felipe Franks and Kyle Trask, I think his name is, are going to split the reps.
Hey, it's okay if you don't know who the third guy is. We barely know who the first guy is, okay? So it gets a little thin down there at 3 and 4. I understand.
But my belief is that Luke Del Rio will start out with number one. And I think it's his job to loot. But that being said, I'm going to be very, very careful to watch Appleby. He's never operated behind a good offensive line or with a really decent offensive scheme. He's got a great arm. He was a quarterback at Elite 11 in 2012 coming out of high school. And as you know, that's the 11 top high school quarterbacks in the country. And he has an absolute bazooka for an arm. Now, the question is, have his skills eroded being up there in a system in Purdue that was dink and dunk, and it had to be because they had no speed to stretch the field.
All right. Franz, the Gator basketball team coming off a much-needed win in Missouri, and they got way ahead, and it let them close the gap some at the end. Your thoughts about this team going to the SEC tournament?
They got to win 2 games to get to the NCAA tournament, and that means being an Arkansas team that's won 4 in a row, and then they have to beat the Aggies who won 6 in a row. So out for them. The bracketologists say that the Gators win 2 games. They're going to get in. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we don't have the loss differential that we had last year. Last year, for example, we had an undefeated team in Kentucky. We had 2 2-loss teams. We had 4 3-loss teams, 3 4-loss teams, 2 5-loss teams. there's a really good chance that we won't have a single team in the NCAA tournament that has fewer than 5 losses. Very, very good chance of that. So the difference between a 5-loss team and, say, a Florida team with, say, 13 or 14 losses isn't as significant as it would have been last year. Last year, a team with 10, 11 losses got caught the squeeze because you had so many teams with much better records.
That's the music. Thank you, Franz Beard. Talk to you next week.
Thanks, buddy.
On the other side, Tom Schmitz will get us the headlines, and Joe Williams from Mile High Sports joins us. Peyton Manning retired today. What a speech he gave. More coming up next.
Right here on WOCA, The Source.
Located in Ocala, Rinstar Medical Research has offered a wide range of clinical research trials for 17 years. Rinstar conducts clinical trials for conditions such as migraines, memory decline, fibromyalgia, and sun-damaged skin. To learn more, call Rinstar at 352-629-5800. Help us create a healthier tomorrow by volunteering today. Please call Rinstar at 352-629-5800.
Michelob Ultra is more than a superior light beer. It's taking in all life has to offer, like catching a wave or biking a long trail. And when you're done, you reach for a cold Michelob Ultra. Fewer carbs, fewer calories, more to look forward to. Michelob Ultra. Long live the ultra life. Enjoy responsibly. Michelob Ultra Light Beer, 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, 0.6 grams protein, and 0 grams fat per 12-ounce serving. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi, I'm Seth with AA Lock, Dock, and Security. Have you ever thought about the locks or security on your house or business? Have you ever wondered why the keys to your new car cost so much? Well, at AA Lock, Dock, and Security, we can help with securing your valuables. We can even replace those expensive transponder keys. We can give you the knowledge that no one else will. Call AA Lock, Dock, and Security at 867-1965. That's 867-1965.
Your weekends are getting a little retool.
Swear to God, not making a joke.
Check this out. New shows? Check. We are Some new talent? Check. Let's welcome the guys.
Let's get it going.
Arnie Spanier.
Unbelievable.
TJ Reeves.
This is what you get.
Your weekends are on fire. Because that's how exotic it is. We are
Fox News Radio, I'm Karen McHugh. A funeral's been scheduled for Friday for former First Lady Nancy Reagan. It'll take place at her late husband's presidential library. Despite it being a private service, a large crowd is anticipated.
We're really prepared for that. We've held presidential debates. We held President Reagan's funeral, a lot of high-level security situations. We're working through all the details, and we will be able to accommodate as many VIPs as can attend.
Reagan Library spokesperson Melissa Giller. Nancy Reagan died at her California home Sunday. She was 94. Democratic presidential contenders Hillary Clinton and Senator Bernie Sanders face off in a town hall-style debate this evening on the Fox News channel. Brett Baer will moderate starting at 6 Eastern. The NFL's Peyton Manning calls it a career.
The end of my football career is just the beginning of something I haven't even discovered yet. Life is not shrinking for me.
He finishes with 2 Super Bowl titles and a record 5 league MVPs.
Fox's Gernal Scott. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Hey, it's Flo, and this is my impression of a home inspector who needs friends.
Yeah, so these studs need to be 1/4 inch further apart, give or take half an inch. It's gotta be just right, you know, like the coverage Progressive provides for your construction business. Otherwise, I'll have to shut you guys down. But if I do, maybe you could come out for Tuesday trivia. Fair warning, I'm kind of a know-it-all. You'll see what I mean at board game night. Hey, what's your number?
Commercial insurance that's perfect for your small business. Visit ProgressiveCommercial.com to learn more. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company.
Remember when a small business needed a landline? Today, landlines are a thing of the past with Grasshopper, entrepreneur's phone system. On the road, at the beach, or at home, Grasshopper helps you grow your business. Get all the features of a business phone system and the freedom of a cell phone with our iPhone and Android apps. Features include multiple extensions for your team, calls forwarded to your mobile phones, voicemails transcribed and emailed, and so much more. See how it works. Grasshopper.com, the entrepreneur's phone system.
So.
Howdy, folks. Did you ever have someone get fresh with you? Or here to tell you what to do? Just get along on down to Dairy Queen Silver Springs and keep your New Year's resolution day fresh. That's right, fresh garden salads topped with crunchy fried or grilled chicken, or a fresh banana shake, or a banana split. That's the kind of fresh folks like at Dairy Queen Silver Springs, where they always treat you like kings and queens.
Attention passengers for Flight 1370. The plane has been delayed at its departure point and will be at least 2 hours late. We apologize for any inconvenience.
Are you serious? It took us over an hour to get here, 2 hours going through security and getting our tickets, and now we have to wait another 2 hours.
Yeah, it's beautiful here, but we're inside this overcrowded airport all day because the plane is stuck in bad weather.
This is the last time we ever do this. When we get back, we're going to Ocala Aviation and getting our pilot's license.
Yeah, we've been talking about that long enough. It's about time we did it. Then we could just fly ourselves and never have to deal with this mess again.
Right. No long lines, no full body groping security, no baggage checks.
Not to mention never losing your luggage. Remind me again why we haven't done that?
Well, we're idiots.
Oh, right.
Attention all passengers for Flight 1370. It looks like the plane is going to be delayed a little bit longer. The airline has lost the pilot's luggage. Isn't it time you got your pilot's license? Call Ocala Aviation today. 352-861-7484. That's 352-861-7484. Hey, you've earned it. Call today.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom. 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Welcome back to the Voice of Ocala. Time to go to the sports headlines on Buddy's Sports page. RG3's strange trip and ascent and fall with the Washington Redskins has come to the end as he was released today by the Washington Redskins after 4 years. He was Rookie of the Year, made the Pro Bowl the same season. Knee injuries, couldn't get along with his coach supposedly, and how quick the mighty have fallen, Buddy. RG3 out in Washington.
Remember I said a couple years ago, stop calling him RG3?
You did. Now it's just Robert Griffin, the released quarterback.
They created a monster in Washington. Good kid, just wasn't any good, couldn't play.
Remember when the University of Illinois hired Ron Zook, a very good friend of the program? We thought that was a good hire.
Yeah.
I think they've done just as good a hire this time.
Yeah, you like Lovie Smith.
Lovie Smith takes his first collegiate job. He was hired as the Illinois head coach to replace Bill Cubitt, who was fired Saturday, and athletic director Josh Whitman's first day on the job. Lovie says, "I'm extremely excited to be named head coach of the Fighting Illini." Josh approached me about this possibility. I immediately seized on the opportunity to make a difference in the lives of young men. I think Illinois has really upgraded itself, buddy, getting the likes of Lovie Smith in there as the head coach.
Let's see if it transfers over. You know, there are some people who never really made the transition from the NFL to college ball. It's different.
Oh, it is different. It is different. Even a team that dominates the way the Warriors have, buddy, are bound to stumble, and boy, did they stumble yesterday. Kobe Bryant, and possibly his last Sunday national game on ABC, stunned the Warriors. The Warriors played a terrible basketball game. 112-95, shooting a season worst 13% for three-point range. The Warriors did. I still think that 72-10. They got 4 losses to go. About 18 games I've seen. I still think 72-10 is going to be a hard record to get. With the pressure as it builds, I think that's going to be a hard record to achieve, buddy.
It's very hard.
And finally,
you're going to talk about a retirement, right?
Finally.
Yeah, Logan Mankins, right?
Yes, that's what I'm going to tell you about, Logan Mankins.
He did retire, you know.
I know. He had trouble getting the words out in Inglewood, Colorado. He strode up to the podium with a folder containing his retirement speech. If he wanted this to be like any other corporate speech he has given, there was no chance, this according to Yahoo Sports. As prepared as Manning is for everything, there was no way to script how you feel walking out of the game you've given your life for. And I watched the opening 5 or 6 minutes of that press conference where he thanked. I thought it was very good, buddy. He walked out and he strode out and he told about his first trip to Baltimore. It's the first time the Colts had been back. and that 19 sought him out and said, "Keep at it, Peyton. Keep at it." And he said, "Well, I hope he's looking down." See, I'm getting chill bumps talking about it right now. He said, "I hope he's looking down from upstairs and he knows that I kept after it." And he was talking about the great Johnny Unitas. And
he said with his high tops.
With his black high tops. So after that, I said, I can't watch that. I had to turn it off.
Well, it was a heck of a first. You wouldn't expect anything less than Peyton Manning. But the deal is that this guy, he's always got it right, and he had it right. I'm going to read you one thing that I saw on Twitter. Through laughter and tears, standing a mile high in the pocket, Peyton thanked everybody with dignity and class in his goodbye. Thanks, number 18.
What I loved is the one line that I will think will go down in just football lore. There's something about 18 years. 18 is a good number. Today I retire from pro football.
That was an excellent line, and I loved it at the end when he actually had the microphone, dropped it on purpose like a rock star, and said, "Omaha,"
and then dropped it and walked off.
That was his end. That was exit. All right, good stuff. We'll see what Joe Williams thinks about it. Take a break, come back, and join Joe Williams from Mile High Sports on the other side after this timeout on Buddy Sports Page.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM. We're live and local. The Source.
Need a car? Need financing? Need somebody to cut through the red tape and send you rolling down the highway? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Got great credit and just prefer a quality pre-owned car at a fair price from somebody you can trust? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Want to avoid high pressure to feel appreciated and be able to choose from a wide selection of AutoCheck and Carfax certified vehicles? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Prestige Auto Sales in Ocala. Prestige. It's all there in our name. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent. Angie wants to help you as you adjust your insurance needs to your life. From everything to helping educate your teen driver to protecting your family against everyday risk. She wants to change the way you perceive insurance by developing relationships with her clients, which is why Angie and her staff are proud to be a part of so many good causes in Ocala. In turn, she has chosen to single out those who step up as leaders. Each month on the Voice of Ocala, Angie spotlights a good neighbor, saluting those who give exceptional service or do random acts of kindness to others. For this, Angie was written up in State Farm's National Magazine. Angie also supports local businesses with a regular Biz Buzz.
Hi, I'm State Farm agent Angie Lewis. Come see me and my team for all your insurance and financial needs in the beautiful downtown historic district, 416 East Fort King Street, or call 291-2444.
Hello, everybody. This is Terry Bradshaw of Fox NFL Sunday. Whenever I'm in Ocala, if I'm not singing and singing with my buddy Mel Tillis, then I'm listening to my longtime friend Buddy Martin on WOCA. Of course, I rarely get to Ocala, so if you believe that, I've got some horses I'd like to sell you. Some of them even have 4 legs. Regardless, I highly recommend you listen to Buddy Martin's Sports Page weekdays at 5 p.m. right here on The Source.
Yeah, I'm that drip coming down from the corner of the room. But where did I come from? I'll never tell.
Bone Dry Roofing can and will fix it right the first time using quality materials and will deal honestly and fairly with you, period. You can find Bone Dry Roofing on their website, bonedryroofingllc.com, and Facebook at Bone Dry Roofing LLC. Do it right before your roof needs a tarp to keep the elements out. Bone Dry Roofing stands behind the work to help make your home safe and secure, plus they have financing available. Remember, if you're not bone dry, then you're all wet.
Have you heard of Hyper-Directory? When looking for local businesses, go to hyper.directory. No need for www, no need for .com, just hyper.directory. Connecting customers to local companies when it matters most. Hyper-Directory is your local business directory partnered with the Ocala Chamber and Economic Partnership to bring you trusted local businesses. Keeping Ocala local. Use hyper.directory. No www, not even .com, just hyper.directory. Connecting customers to businesses when it matters most.
Hospice of Marion County has an urgent need for volunteers to share a conversation with someone, run errands, hold someone's hand. All you need is a willingness to help others. Our volunteers believe the blessings they receive far exceed the services they offer. Will you consider serving, caring, and making a difference? Call today, 873-7441. Hospice of Marion County, making more moments of life possible.
Putting the local back into radio. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. WOCA News. Variety. Information. Now. Keep your arms and legs on the inside at all times.
WOCA.
AM 1370.
96.3. 96.3.
We are The Source. WOCA.
Well, the biggest man in Denver stepped aside today and retired. It wasn't Joe Williams, by the way. It wasn't Joe.
Who?
No, it wasn't Joe Williams.
You had
no.
me scared. I said the biggest man in Denver. I mean,
I know.
He is the
Well, that's why I
biggest
said that,
personality in Denver.
Yeah, he is, by the way, the voice of reason. He has been on the air. I think when Marconi actually, that was Irv, though. Marconi and then the radio, Irv Brown came on, then Joe followed shortly thereafter with me for a while. Gosh, we really used to tear it up in Denver back in the day. I'm telling you what, this guy and I, he's the favorite host. He's a favorite guest of a lot of people on this program. He's been doing radio with me for 20 years, back off and on, and I welcome my man back, Joe Williams, who, as much as he doesn't like Peyton, had to at least be aware of what took place today at Dove Valley with the speech of Peyton Manning. All right, Joe, I'm expecting you to put some perspective on it. How was it?
How you doing, man? Did you say the biggest man in Denver or the fattest man in Denver?
You need to talk to Tom Schmitz about his program. He's got he's dropped a bunch of weight. So
I know y'all been doing it. Who won that contest?
It's still going. He's going to win it probably.
Who do you think's going to win that, Joe? Really? Come on.
I don't know, but you'll be happy to know I'm going down the lean cuisine route myself now.
Good for you. Very good.
Yeah.
You should join.
Yeah.
You should join the Terry Bradshaw Weight Loss Challenge. You don't have to be in any particular program, whatever it is. That's great.
Well, I need a personal invitation before I do something like that.
I just gave it to you.
Mm-hmm.
You want us to? You want me to put it in the mail, or you want me to you engrave it, or what do you want me to do?
Let's talk about Peyton Manning. Get off my diet.
Well, you're the one who brought it up.
Yeah, I know it.
Let's talk.
I got a big mouth.
You're a big man. It was.
I was wondering. I wonder if maybe he shouldn't have done this in Indianapolis. That's what I kept wondering.
Why would you see? That's typical of you. You always want to rain on somebody's parade. Here the guy is, gives the most elegant speech, a retirement. Everybody's quoting it, talking about how great it is, and you come along and say, I wonder if he should have done it in Indianapolis. Thanks a lot.
Well, I mean, I really mean it. It crossed my mind. 18 years in the league, 14 of them were there. Here's a guy back there that obviously he's got streets named after him. For crying out loud, he don't have his name on a car dealership. He's got it on a hospital. I mean, he was everything back there, and he stood for everything back there. And when you played the Colts, as Denver did many times in the playoffs and got waxed, he stood the tallest of all of them back there. And it wasn't his fault that they decided they wouldn't take a chance on him when he had to have surgery, and they decided to go ahead and go with Andrew Luck, which looks like, in retrospect, a pretty good decision. All right. But to me, obviously he goes in the Hall of Fame, and you think of him as a Colt. You'll never think of him as a Bronco. And I just thought maybe it would have been appropriate for him to give that speech in Indianapolis.
Well, maybe you didn't hear that he got fired by the Colts. Just in case you didn't remember that.
I understand that.
Would you want to go back to a place that fired you and retire there? I mean,
well, I'll tell you something. Had he not chosen to give the speech today, he would have been fired in 2 days in Denver. All right, so don't forget that they had no intention of bringing him back.
Well, that's different 4 years ago and now, obviously. So, but nonetheless,
4 years versus 14, I think I've got a good point.
No, you don't. That's okay. We'll agree to disagree on that. But now, you got Brock Osweiler, so I don't want to hear you come crying to me about it, okay?
Brock Osweiler could end up in Houston, fellas.
Yeah, I've heard that. You know what, Joe? It ain't going to happen.
Well, I'll tell you this. It shows you the state of the league in terms of the quarterback situation when a guy who started all of 7 games and was benched in the deciding game of the regular season because it looked like he was coming undone and rattled, or whatever the word you want to use, against the San Diego Chargers, one of the worst teams in the National Football League, and Peyton Manning came riding to the rescue, and somebody now wants to give him $45 million? That don't make sense to me. And we're talking about a marriage here. We're not talking about a courtship. We're not talking about dating or going to the prom. We're talking about marriage, one with a no prenup. $45 million for Brock Osweiler. I don't care if it's Denver or Houston or anybody else. The league can't be in that bad a shape, can it? 350 million people in this country, and Brock Osweiler's one of the 30 best quarterbacks in the world.
And who would you?
Now, I ain't buying that.
Excuse me a second. Who would you propose that they get besides Brock? Who, by the way, would be crazy not to come back to a team that he knows, an offense he knows. He's got good receivers there. He's got a good offensive line there. He's got a terrific defense. If they sign everybody, why wouldn't he come back there? I mean, it's Joe. Are you familiar with these games that agents play? Come on, man. It's called leverage.
No, I'm saying, why would Denver go out on a limb like that? I tell you what I'd do. I'd change my offense, and I'd go and trade for Colin Kaepernick. I'd bring in RG3. And
Tim Tebow's out there. Go get Tim Tebow.
I was just you stepped on my line. I was just getting ready to bring him in.
I can see it.
I'd have 3 of them, and I'd run that college offense, and let's see people stop them. That's what I'd do.
Okay.
I'd do that before I give Brock Osweiler $45 million.
We're speaking with Joe Williams. Joe, Tom Schmitz here. Let's talk about the other side of the football. We got enough quarterbacks from a defensive guy. Let's talk about the other side. How contentious is it going to get if they don't get something done? They've already franchise tagged Von Miller. Don't they have to get him signed to a long-term deal or before they lose the face of the franchise now that Peyton's gone?
Well, they probably will. This buys them until July the 15th to get a long-term deal done. And I think they probably will, although there are some here in Denver that believe that that might not ever happen, that this could be it for Von Miller. But I think they'll get him. But regardless, even if they do, look, the defenses are never the same. Denver's defense is never going to be like it was this year again. Free agency, the draft, all that stuff figures in, the salary cap. It'll never again be the way that it was. The 85 Bears defense, most every one of them came back at 86, and guess what? They weren't the 85 Bear defense. People get Super Bowl fat. People get jealous. People want to get paid. People won't play hurt. When they're dinged up, they say, I better listen to my agent here. It's never the same. All right? So whether they've signed Von Miller or not, face of the franchise or not, they're not going to be the same defense. It won't be the same. It never is the same.
All right, Joe Williams, you were there when Elway retired. You're there when Peyton Manning retired. You saw Craig Morton ride out on the sunset. You've seen quarterbacks come and go, whatever. What has this guy meant to the city of Denver and the franchise and the great fans of Colorado?
I think you left out Steve Tenzie, but I know he's a Florida State guy, and you hate Florida State.
I can name other quarterbacks if you'd like. I know a few more, but that's okay. Go ahead.
You just won't admit it, but you hate him. But anyway, the answer to your question is Peyton Manning came in here. Thank God Houston turned him down because that was his first choice, and he was going to the Texans. And after that little episode, they decide Pat Bowlen, who probably is the best owner in the NFL, and you can make an argument for that anyway.
I agree.
He came in and he said, I'll give him $20 million, and I'll take a chance on him because we want to win a Super Bowl. And Denver had been, of course, the prior year, Tebow, they'd gotten to the NFL playoffs with him and even won a game against the Steelers, but they did not feel, whether they were right or wrong, but they did not feel that Tebow was the answer. And so they were willing to take that big chance, and Manning came in here and delivered on all the expectations. He delivered. When you think of everything that he did here, all the yards that he threw, they won their division championship every year that he was here. They played in 2 Super Bowls. They won 1. I mean, you can't ask much more. And think about it. He was 37 years old, at the time he came in here. And it all worked, and Denver owes him a lot, and the fans, I hope they appreciate him because you don't get that many chances. A guy like Peyton Manning, every year you know you're going to win 12 games. Wherever you're playing, you know you're going to win 12, and you know you're in the playoffs. How many teams in the NFL can say that? They can't. They can't say it. They don't know. They hope we might get there. With Peyton Manning, you knew you were going to get there. Denver owes him a lot. And even though I think that speech should have been delivered in Indianapolis, the people here, I believe, appreciate him. And I guarantee you they'll appreciate him even more when he's gone.
Always remember that night I was riding home, Joe, after the Broncos got John Elway from Baltimore, the Baltimore Colts, and Larry King was on at nighttime radio. I heard a guy calling from Denver and said, finally, after all these years, we got a quarterback. Well, they got a quarterback then. They got a quarterback when number 18 came in and had a little bit of a run with number 15, didn't they? So it's been pretty good for the last 25
well,
years.
The last 5 years has been really good, and the 7 or 8 previous to that, they weren't terrible, but they were unremarkable, and just goes to show you, that kind of talent doesn't come along very often. I mean, he is clearly a cut above, and you talk about your Mount Rushmore. I don't know who the other 3 are, but I know he's one of them. And you just unless numbers don't mean anything.
Yeah, you're right. Joe.
If numbers mean something, then he's up there.
Agreed, Joe, and good stuff. Thank you, appreciate it. I'll talk to you on your show on Thursday.
That'll be after I've lost another 10 pounds. Goodbye, fellas.
The Hitman inspired to go and lose weight. Thank our guests today.
I want to thank Kevin Sheely from the CEP, the president and CEO of the CEP. Former Councilman John McLeod joined us as well. Franz Beard, Mr. College Football, Tony Barnhart, and, of course, your counterpart, the curmudgeon himself, Joe Williams.
Absolutely, and Tom Schmitz, great job. I'm Buddy Martin. Have a great night, everybody.
Michelob Ultra is more than a superior light beer. It's taken in all life has to offer, like catching a wave or biking a long trail. And when you're done, you reach for a cold Michelob Ultra. Fewer carbs, fewer calories, more to look forward to. Michelob Ultra. Long live the ultra life. Enjoy responsibly. Michelob Ultra Light Beer, 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, 0.6 grams protein, and 0 grams fat for 12-ounce serving. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Are you in the process of planning your wedding reception? Or are you planning that birthday party for someone special? Or maybe you're just looking to throw a party for yourself? Are you in charge of this year's company outing and looking for something fresh and fun to do? Well, KT Entertainment is your answer to all those questions. We provide music, trivia, and karaoke for everybody's enjoyment. If you would like to get in touch with KT Entertainment and find out about our competitive prices, call us at 352-512-2611. That's 352-512-2611. Or you can find us on the web at kt4fun.com. That's KT, the number 4, fun.com. So remember, whether it's a wedding reception, a party, or a company outing, it's KT Entertainment for all your karaoke, trivia, or musical needs.
Hello, I'm Dawn Lovell, lead event designer and owner at Party Time Rentals. Have you ever wondered what it takes to make an event spectacular? Well, look no further. It's what we do every day, whether you're hosting an intimate dinner for 10 or a gala for thousands. At Party Time Rentals, we find just the right style and elegance to make your event a success. Our extensive inventory of the finest in chandeliers, tents, crystal, china, and specialty items is featured in our fabulous showroom. Stop by and say hello. It's a great way to get ideas for an event and experience for yourself how you can make your party time special.
Party Time Rentals, located on Southwest 10th Street, just off Route 200 in Ocala, and off Southwest 34th Street in Gainesville. For more information, call 352-629-8858. That's 352-629-8858. The party begins at Party Time.
Bob Kennedy with Berkshire Hathaway Home Team Realty will be on the air Friday at 9:30 a.m. to talk about real estate. Bob will be addressing issues concerning the local real estate market, financing, trends, and even spotlight a listing or two. The program is interactive, and that means your calls are an important part of the show. So whether you're buying, selling, renting, or acting as a landlord, be sure to tune in Fridays 9:30 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source, 96.3 FM and 1370 a.m.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
Most couples get ring tattoos after the wedding ceremony, not for the engagement, which is smart considering 25% of all engaged couples, they never make it to the altar. Taking breaks help boost our mood and makes us more creative and productive. When a woman feels threatened, she tends to touch the front of her neck or play with her necklace because it's an area that's physically vulnerable. For men, their tell is fidgeting with their tie.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Hi, this is Vanessa Lane Jennings with the Jennings Law Firm, located here in beautiful Ocala. Join me every single Friday at 10:30 for Legal Lane. We'll be discussing various legal topics such as family law, criminal law, contracts, and much more. So this is your chance to call in with your legal questions and have them answered. That's every Friday, 10:30, right here, WOCA The Source.
Hi, Matt Wilkerson here, your mobile Verizon rep. But not just here, I'll deliver the phone to you in your home. While I'm there, I'll only sell you what you need and I'll personalize it to you. Want to have me get you connected? Then call me at 352-528-0020. I even offer unlimited home phone service for just $20 per month. Just call me, your mobile Verizon rep, at 352-528-0020.